Nioh is a mature action RPG developed by Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo Games. If you're a fan of the Dark Souls series, you'll feel right at home with the game's complex mechanics and playstyle. In this video, we're going to see which platform plays it better, Boosteroid or Sony's PlayStation Nioh. So to keep things fair, we're going to play through the app versions of both platforms. If this is the first time you've ever heard of Boosteroid or PS Now, check out our Getting Started videos linked in the top right. When using either platform, you'll notice there's a lot of similarities in both apps. On PC, both apps can be launched directly from your desktop, and you choose games the same way you would choose a movie on Netflix. You can find games by genre or using the search bar, and when launching your game, both apps open a separate window for your game session. PlayStation Now is a monthly subscription-based service. Members have full access to the game library, including PlayStation's famous line of game exclusives. Yes! Yes! This means you don't need to own a copy of each title, which is a big upside compared to most platforms which require you to have your own copy to play. But there is a catch. PlayStation Now has a time limit on how long games last on the platform. Just like Netflix, titles come and go, but you will be prompted when the game is leaving the platform. This does mean that you will have to wait until the game is re-released on the platform before you can play it again. We played Nioh through the Boosteroid app, but it's also available on your favorite internet browser. There's a wide selection of titles to choose from, but unlike PS Now, you have to own a copy of each game you want to play. But one thing to keep in mind is that once you buy a game, you own that digital copy, and from what we've seen with Boosteroid, it doesn't remove games throughout the season. You're also not required to buy a game from a single store. Boosteroid has Steam, Origin, and Epic Games available. Understand this though, you can only play a title on Boosteroid if that version is available. This can mean one of two things. You either need to have a specific copy, or you need to have a specific game account in order to play the game. With Nioh, we had to have an Epic Games account, but for Nioh 2, you can play directly through Steam. So make sure you check and know which accounts you need and which versions are available before purchasing. It's when we start looking at the actual in-game graphics where both platforms begin to separate themselves. We play the game on a 2K monitor for both platforms. As of right now, both Boosteroid and PlayStation Now can only stream up to a maximum of 1080p. With PlayStation Now, there wasn't a detailed in-game graphics menu available. PS Now does have a built-in menu where you can use your graphics card to boost your resolution, but check out our Getting Started video for more information. The only thing close I could really find is this game mode settings menu. Each description is pretty short as to what it does. But from what we can tell, action mode is frame rate forward, movie mode with a variable frame rate is resolution forward, and the standard movie mode combines the two by keeping you at a constant 30 FPS. When trying each one, I really couldn't see a difference, but we decided to go with the movie mode with the variable frame rate, so at least our resolution is consistent, even though we may deal with a little bit of stuttering. On the other hand, Boosteroid had two graphics menus which you could adjust. Now mind you, they both did the same exact things, but the fact that these both were available is a big plus. Now it may be difficult to see in our video, but when playing in-game, you can clearly see the differences in each platform. From the very first cutscene, you can tell that PS Now's resolution looks dated, even though the game is supposed to be in 1080p. The overall image isn't terrible in any sense, but for a game that was released in 2017, a 5-year difference shouldn't have character and weapon details looking pixelated. In addition, we dealt with screen stuttering every time we entered a new area of the map. The stuttering only happened for about a second at most, but with a game like Nioh, every movement and angle counts. Any amount of latency can mean instant death, and games like Nioh are not generous with save points. You could be at the very end of a level and die and have to start all the way back at the last save point. Anybody who's fresh into these type of games, that could mean hours of refighting enemies, and you may not make it back through the first time. You could die multiple times just to get back to the same point where you first died from. So because of that, I have to give some leeway to PS Now, because I voluntarily chose the variable frame rate. If I chose movie mode instead, our FPS is consistent at 30 frames per second, which means the stuttering issue may have been non-existent. Now when we were playing on Boosteroid, the platform simply just did not have the same issues as PS Now. And this gets into what we've talked about before when platforms like Boosteroid actually have in-game graphics menus. Now I did say that I would cut PS Now some slack, but the fact that there isn't a clear graphics menu is a legitimate issue that Boosteroid simply doesn't have. With their detail, you can clearly see what to expect when you get in game, and also if you don't like something, you actually have the ability to change it. And because you actually see these graphic settings at work in game, Boosteroid truly takes this round. While there was a significant gap in the video quality of both platforms, the actual gameplay on both were pretty neck and neck. Now I'm not gonna lie to you all, that could be completely due to the fact of how immersed I was into the game. I really was not trying to die every 5 seconds. Like I said before, if you're new to this genre, you're gonna have to practice. You're not gonna get through this game button mashing your way to the top. Games like Nioh are gonna make you patient, and you have to wait for the right time to strike. And if you don't,
you finna die, baby!
The game is gonna punish you every single time. There really is no cheat code around this. Overall, I had a great time with Nioh, and this was actually my introduction into the Dark Souls genre. My friends would always talk about how hard the games were, and it's definitely a challenge, but that's really the fun of the game. Nioh isn't a game you're about to speed blitz through, especially if you don't understand the playstyle. And that's the great thing about playing Nioh either on Boosteroid or PlayStation Now. Neither platform really has any major issues which are going to keep you from getting through the game. Now I did mention PlayStation Now stuttering and the lack of a graphics menu, but again, that was my choice to go with the variable frame rate instead of sticking at a constant 30 FPS. But if a choice has to be made between the two platforms, Boosteroid is the clear winner. I had an overall better experience playing on Boosteroid than I did on PlayStation Now. And if it wasn't for the fact that Boosteroid maxes out at 1080p, it'd be that much better. Now as we said before, you do have to purchase each game that you want to play on Boosteroid. PlayStation Now does have total access to their library, but depending on how fast you beat a game, your favorite title could just disappear for an indefinite period of time. Now all this isn't to say that PlayStation Now isn't a great platform, because things are actually really looking up for it. Check out our video if you want to know more about these upcoming changes and possible major improvements. If you enjoyed our video, leave a like and comment below if I missed anything or if I was completely wrong. Welcome to all those who are new to the channel, and if you enjoy our content, subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay up to date. For more news, comparisons, and so much more, stay tuned into the only place where you can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle.